you lovely lot, welcome back to my channel. It's that time of the month again where we go through all the books that I read in November and everything I hope to read in the month of December, aka Christmas. Guys, what a month it's been. Truly, I cannot wait to tell you all of my thoughts and feelings because I truly believe that this has been the best reading month of the year so far. So grab yourselves a drink, let's get cozy and let's go through everything we've read this month. Can someone tell me what was in the air in November? Because I have never had so many good reads in one month collectively all together. These reads kept coming back to back to back and I was like, okay November, I see what you're doing to me. We're ending the year on a high. I don't even know where to begin. But let's just start at the beginning. I'm gonna get this one out of the way first of all, because this was the book that I started the month off with, and this kind of continued from the spooky season vibes. I wasn't over spooky season, so I wanted to continue on with some spooky-esque reads. This is Dark Academia, and it is spooky. So I'm gonna start off with the positives of this book. It really left me with not knowing how to feel, but it did give me similar vibes to Wednesday, the series Wednesday. Now, if you've seen that series, you'll know how amazing it is. And so initially I was getting those kind of vibes and I was like, ooh, okay, this has the potential to be really, really special. In the first 100 pages, I was so intrigued and so invested, and I truly thought, okay, this is gonna be good. And then it kind of lost me. I either want beautiful writing, I either want a book to make me feel something, or I read for vibes and a good time. So I do not have to read literary masterpieces. It does not have to be perfection for me to enjoy myself and have a good time. But this is the first book I've ever really experienced where I could not see past the plot holes. And I still had so many unanswered questions by the end that I just felt frustrated. So I did not love this book like I thought I would. Now this is where everything just goes. I then was in so much of a need for a palate cleanser that I picked up Funny Story by Emily Henry, the last of her books that I had to read. And this blew every other Emily Henry book I've ever read out of the water. This, for me, just has my entire heart and soul. Potentially is one of the best romance books I've ever read. What I love about Emily Henry is how she writes about these characters and these relationships that are so imperfectly perfect. And the way she writes her banter, her witty, beautiful banter has me laughing, kicking, giggling my feet, screaming, and every beautiful sentence that she pieces together in her gorgeous way that she does resonates so deeply within my soul. And with this book in particular, I felt so seen and understood in a way I've never experienced before. Literally to the point where I was like, okay, Emily, did you write this book for me? Like, I know she didn't, but it felt like she did. It's just absolute perfection, and truly when I finished this, it made me want to reread it all over again straight away. From there I moved on to Riftborn by Granick and Lennox. They are indie authors. Now this is giving Fourth Wing meets X-Men. And let me tell you, the ending of this book had me questioning everything I thought I knew. I absolutely adored the concept of this book. It's magical, special ops-based fantasy, and it really does give Fourth Wing vibes, obviously minus the dragons. I love the female friendships in this. It was definitely giving mentor meets mentee with a slow burn, and not to mention that it was jam-packed with twists and turns at every corner. I just truly thought this was such a fantastic romantasy read, and it had me thinking about it for weeks on end. People that I was like, please, have you read this? Can we talk about it? Because I need to know if you had the same thoughts and theories that I did, because by the end there was so many things that I was like, wait a minute, this, everything has done a 360 and I don't know who I am anymore. This blew my mind. And then I dove into this. Now this is book 4 in the Windy City series by Liz Tomford. Obviously it's called Play Along, and I have not read the 3 books prior to this, but this is a series of interconnected standalones, so you don't necessarily need to read the others to be able to just dive into whichever book that you like. Obviously if you do start from book 1, you get a more broader, richer experience, and there's other characters in the other books in the other book. But I read book 4, went straight for book 4, and I had the time of my life. This was just some gorgeous combination of things that I didn't actually think would be for me, and they so were. This is all about baseball, and I have not read any baseball romance before. Now I feel like I'm a #1 super fan. The men in this series are notoriously green flag men, and I am not a green flag girl. I gotta say, I'm really not. Give me all the red flags. But the green flag man in this book stole the show. He wiped the floor. I was literally obsessed with him. And the female main character, the chemistry that they had, the way that they balanced each other out was absolute romance perfection. It had these beautiful moments that make you laugh as well, like physically laugh out loud. And then at the same time, it's got this absolutely gorgeous spice. It has a little bit of everything in, and you're just constantly, the entire time, giggling, kicking your feet, laughing out loud. I loved it. I loved it. I really loved everything about this. Then I read The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. It's a YA thriller. I've read The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Really loved and enjoyed that. This is one of her other series. And for me, this scared me. Like, I must scare very easily because this creeps me out. Jennifer's writing always has and always will be super, super addictive, and this was the embodiment of that. It's full of plot twists, some that I definitely didn't see coming. And in my opinion, I would say this is a psychological thriller because it's both captivating but also scary. Definitely got in my head. It was the kind of thing where I was like, I'm freaked out, but I also am not gonna stop reading. Then I read Manacled by Sen Lin Yu. This is Dramini fanfiction, my first ever fanfiction I've ever read. And this will not be the last by any stretch of imagination. This was absolute perfection. I don't think it gets better than this. The sacrifices, the heartache, the devastation. I have no words. I have no words. All I feel is pain. And don't get me wrong, emotionally you go through it and it's dark, and definitely check the triggers if you're thinking about reading. It is also going to get taken off AO3 at the end of the year. So if you're wanting to read it or you're hoping to read it in the future, but you're just not quite ready yet, or you want to read it before the end of the year, please, please, please download it to your Kindles so that then you have the opportunity to read it in the future should you ever want to. This is dark. And it's emotional and it's heartbreaking and it's painful, but reading that is so worth every single one of those emotions that you go through because it's a masterpiece, truly. Hermione, oh, that woman, the things that she has to endure and go through blew my mind. The last line was absolutely heart-wrenching. I read it and I reread it and I reread it again because in my head I was like, no. And that's all I'm gonna say. This is obviously all spoiler-free, but read it, cry, sob, and then let me know what you think. Just read it, please. Then I read Wrath of the Never Queen by Storm Lomax. This was a very unique read. First of all, it's a standalone romantasy, and the magic system and the world, very, very unique and very refreshing to read. It really gave me Beauty and the Beast vibes. What was also interesting was the dynamic between the FMC and the MMC. Their relationship was so interesting. So she was more of the domineering, stronger one of the two, whereas the male main character was more in touch with his emotions. It kind of flipped everything on its head to what we normally see. It was a complete role reversal, and I really enjoyed that actually. Storm really, really, truly wrote a beautiful and unique story, but for me personally, just wanted more plot twists and turns. I felt like it was very much one level for me. There wasn't anything which really shocked me or surprised me. I just needed a little bit more of the ups and downs with this one. This month I attended my first ever in-person book club. It was hosted by the absolutely gorgeous and wonderful Laura, who you guys know as Paperback Honey. And first of all, she slayed. She smashed, honestly. It was amazing. Such an amazing night. The pick for this month was Metal Slinger. And as you guys know, and have probably seen, everybody is talking about Metal Slinger. Talking about a book that you've read with a group of people is just a really, really gorgeous experience. So if you have the chance to go to a book club, I would 110% recommend. They're special. But anyway, back to the book. The cliffhanger had me. I'm not gonna lie, the cliffhanger is what everybody says it is. It's shocking. I didn't see it coming, and it truly, like, the floor bottomed out from underneath me. This was a really promising start to the series. There are a couple of things for me that I didn't quite get as much clarification on things as I would have liked, that had me questioning things in the sense of like, did that make sense? that there was a couple of moments that were like that for me with this, but overall I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars. The world and where everything is set and the magic system, super unique. Doesn't feel recycled at all, which is so nice. You've got some spicy moments in here too, which obviously we love, and overall I really enjoyed it. I just wish I had a little bit more clarification at certain points in the book, or maybe like it dived in a little bit deeper to certain parts for it to give like a bit of a broader picture and to make a little bit more sense in my brain. But aside from that, really enjoyed it. In terms of my audiobook of the month, I listened to Man's Search for Meaning by Victor E. Frankl. This is harrowing, hard-hitting, hard to listen to at times. Really packs a punch. This book is kind of split into 2 parts. The first part is his experience through the war, and the second part is like psychological lessons he learned from going through that. And he's also a psychologist as well, I believe. It's kind of got 2 parts to it. The first one is emotive and moving, puts things into perspective and makes you just think, I cannot believe that people experience and endure these kind of horrors. Yeah, it's hard and heavy going at times, but also like something that you need to listen to, I think, at some point in your life. This obviously was my self-help book of the month, but for me, I just found myself disconnecting a little bit with the second half. The lessons in it and the advice and the wisdom in it is profound. You can take that on, but there was just psychological jargon which took me out slightly. Overall, thought it was really good, but just didn't connect with it deeply like I have with some of the previous audiobooks I've read earlier in the year. And then I finished off the month with Sisters of Sword and Song by Rebecca Ross. Now, I have read Divine Rivals, loved that from her. The writing is so beautiful, the story is gorgeous, it's light fantasy, a sprinkle of romance, and it is just beautiful. This is the next book that I've read of hers. This has been redesigned and republished recently, and it's about love, myths, and the power of sisterhood. The bonds of sisters really dominates this story, but it also kind of deals with learning to identify who you are as an individual and who you are away from that duo that everybody associates you with. You without your sister, who are you? It was really unique. I've not read anything like this before. I do think it is a little bit slower in terms of fantasy. I still really enjoyed it. I really did, and I thought it was magical. Had a little sprinkle of romance in this as well. The 2 female main characters in this just absolutely led the story, and I could envisage everything really clearly, and I just thought it was really unique, and I thought it was really good. So that's everything I read in November. I had a really great month, and I'm really hoping that that theme continues into December. And looking forward into next month, I'm thinking, okay, what do I want to read? I want to have some Christmassy fun with some Christmassy kind of romances. I want to have some epic fantasies in there. I want to try and get to the 10 books that I want to read before the end. Like, I want to read those. And I'm a little bit behind, and we've only got 1 month left. But anyway, I just want to enjoy December most of all and have a good time with my reading and try and have a few more 5-star reads if we can. So this is what I want to read in December. First book I'm going to be picking up in December is Where the Library Hides by Isabel Ibanez. This is part 2 of the duology. It just came out last month. Let me just read you the dedication, because the dedication in the beginning of this book says, "For the readers who stayed up all night agonizing over the epilogue in What the River Knows, this one is dedicated to you." Okay, to me and every other reader who read this, because I know for a fact that every single person who read What the River Knows had the exact same experience. So I can't wait to see what happens with book 2. So excited. I annotated book 1, and I'm going to annotate this one as well. And I'm just excited to be back in this lush jewel of a gem of a world and to see what happens, to see where the story takes us. So yeah, I can't wait for this. My first Christmassy book is going to be Snowed In by Catherine Wald. Now apparently this is perfect if you are a fan of Emily Henry, and guess who's the biggest fan of Emily Henry? So it says, "Old friends, fake flames, new feelings, question mark." This is set in Ireland, which I love. You've got fake dating, and then you've also got like a snowed in Christmassy cabin and a little sprinkle of Christmas magic. Then I would really like to read The Crow Lord. Now, this I have not heard a lot about. Some of the things that I've seen are really good, and then my friends read this and she didn't have a great time. So I don't know where this is gonna fall, but on the back it says, "What will you give me? His voice again was like melted gold, like a whisper in the bedroom." Yeah, okay, it's supposed to be about vampires, and that's pretty much all I know. The cover is absolutely stunning. I don't know really much else. I'm kind of going to go in blind, keep an open mind, and see how I find it. If you're looking at this book and thinking loose, you've literally said you're going to read this for the last 3 months in a row. Nobody needs to know that. That's not the point, okay? That is not the point. The point is, I have to bloody read this before the end of the year. There's not even an option not to. I need to read this. Book 3 just came out, and I'm like, I know I'm gonna enjoy this. I feel like I really strongly am. Me and Lightlark in December, it's a sure thing. It's happening, and I need you guys to hold me accountable, please. I have to have my own sanity for my own sake. I need to read this in December. Then I'm going to read God of Malice by Rena Kent. Now, I spoke to Laura about this. She thinks I'm crazy for diving into this because I'm not a dark romance girly. I've read Haunting Adeline in truth, and for me, I don't think it's the dark romance that scares me off. It's the fact that he was the bad guy, but then he was saving these young girls, and I was like, either he's the bad guy or don't try and make him out to be a saint when he's definitely not a saint. The whole concept of that, I just wasn't on board with. So apparently in this, the guy is absolutely nuts. So I don't know what kind of experience I'm gonna have with God of Malice, but we'll see. I'm excited to try something new, to try a new genre, see how I get on. Immortal Dark. Now I know I said I was gonna read this last month, I just didn't have the time, so I'm not gonna go too much into this because if you see my previous videos, you know how I feel about this. I'm super excited to read it, and December I absolutely have to. Absolutely have to do that along with Lightlark. They're at the top of the list, so this is happening in December. It's like a new take on vampires, dark academia, all of the things that I love and adore. So I guess we're having like a vampire December. That seems to be the vibe for this month, but I'm all for it. Another romance on the list is Meet Your Match by Candy Steiner. Now this is book 1 in the Kings of the Ice series, which is all about a professional hockey team and the women who bring them to their knees. So yeah, you bet I'm gonna be reading this. I've heard it's supposed to be really good. Yeah, I'm excited. Another book I didn't get around to reading last month was Watermoon, but has to happen this month. It comes out in January, so I literally need to read this. I actually, the other day, looked at the first couple of pages. It sounds so beautiful. The writing is just gorgeous already. And I just feel like it's going to give me all of the kind of enchanted, magical, adventure-y style kind of reads that I really am going to be craving this Christmas. And finally, the last book I'm going to talk about that I'd really love to read is The Witch Collector by Carissa Weeks. I've been saving this for December because I feel like it's going to give me all the wintry, witchy, cool, cold December vibes, and so this is literally the top of my list too for December. Everybody I know has said that they think I'm going to love this series, so I'm really excited to see how I find it. I think the premise is that every harvest the witch collector comes into town to collect witches, and it's supposed to be romancy, gorgeous, goodness, greatness, witches, slow burn, all that fun stuff. And me in this book, I feel like you're a match made in heaven. That's everything for this week's video. Let me know in the comments, what are you guys reading this Christmas? And as always, I will see you at the next one. Thank you so much for watching.